started broadcasting the meeting on custom lines.
Okay, there we go.
Wow, looks like we're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Top of the time zone. Welcome to Innervision FM News. Got Johnny J in the house. Soon we may be joined by our resident time traveler, Hey Joe. I'm Alan C., Johnny J's co-host. We have a packed show for you tonight, and stay right till the end. We're going to have a little dry run of our simulation. Johnny and I are going to propose a few questions with regard to a scenario for a life simulation that I built over the past week, designed to stress test what I like to call the Colvin protocol. So stay all the way to the end. You're going to be in
Yeah,
for a treat. Hey,
yeah,
today in Innervision FM News, let's start by mourning the passing of the Prince of Darkness. Prince of
yeah.
Darkness, named Ozzy Osbourne. Um, he is the Black Sabbath frontman. Um,
Mm.
gosh, I guess he only made it to 76. For some reason, I thought he was a little older than
I
that.
did the way he was wearing out his body, man. He was working. He was working it.
Yeah, he was working it, boy.
Yeah,
Oh boy,
yeah, but
I just gotta say, get saved today if that's what you're wanting to do, because there comes a time when the party's over and the lights go down, and when you get ready to take that first step into eternity, you want to know where you're going. First Corinthians chapter 15, verse 51 is where you're going to find the blueprint for salvation. Hey, listen, he's not looking for a rules and ordinances. Although he is the righteous judge, he's also merciful and kind and good. Oh man, yeah, man, just get in there, man. You're gonna love it because he is asking for a relationship. So, what do you want to
definitely.
get started, Johnny?
Well, let's go back to 1934, where we had this very charismatic John Dillinger.
I
Uh,
remember John Dillinger. Wow.
Now they say like he robbed from the rich and well, in this case, he thought about giving to the poor, but like it was just a fleeting thought.
A fleeting thought.
Yeah.
You know, yeah,
So
I was telling Johnny this earlier. That's what you call a supply chain interruption.
yeah, man. It's like so John Dillinger was gunned down by the FBI. I guess
Wow.
eventually they got tired and said, "We got to get this guy. He's making us look embarrassed." And I guess robbing banks is a federal offense. So
Absolutely.
the FBI
Absolutely.
had to step in and say, "We got to get this guy. And we got to stop playing around with him because he's just making us look bad in the papers." I guess when they read all about it, Dillinger hits again, read all about it,
We were
back in
just
the
coming
days.
out of the depression at that time, too. This is 5 years after the stock market crash of 1929. So,
Mm,
money, even though it was still backed by gold in those days, it did not really start attaining its fiat currency until just after 1971, as we started taking ourselves off the gold standard as
mm.
a country. Some believe that gold or tangible assets are the way to go, so we need to get back on it. I would submit a lot of things like money's not real, tokens are a bunch of crap, things like that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit later about that.
Yeah. Now in 1991, uh, this guy puts a new bent on Where's the Beef? Jeffrey Dahmer, he was a serial killer and cannibalist. And if you want to watch the series on Netflix, I got the one where he went to this bar and grabbed one of these gay guys and brought him back to his apartment. And then it started getting creepy because the guy says, he asks like, why does your place smell like this? He says, he said something about the garbage, some garbage place behind the building that hasn't been dumped. And then he locks the door and he puts the keys in his pocket. So if you can see, you're saying, now why is he locking the door? And why is he putting I mean, locking the door from the inside. He had locks on the inside. You can
Yeah.
understand, like you lock the door. Well, you lock the door from the inside, but
You
with
keep people out.
keys, yeah,
He just
with
wanted to
keys,
keep people in. So
yeah,
he's got a double security lock, got a lock on the outside, perhaps got a lock on the inside as well. So guy's sitting there having a whoa,
yeah,
really
A-
existential moment, I guess.
yeah, and the guy, he was smart enough to say, wait a minute, I'll pretend that I am enjoying the company, um, but I'm looking for a way out. And then he says, okay. At one point, he says, I can take this guy.
Yeah,
And they started fighting. He got those keys. He kicked him and did something to him.
yeah.
And I don't know if in the movie that if Jeffrey opened the fridge, I don't think he would have. I don't think he did because that would have really
That would have
hyped that
ruined his
hyped that guy
plans, I
up.
guess.
But he eventually, I mean, he knocked Jeffrey Dahmer down, got those keys out of his possession, unlocked that door, and ran for his life. And at first, the police didn't believe him. They said, "This
Wow.
guy's," police said, "So you're running without any shoes? Like, what's going on with you?" And he says, "Officer, this man tried to, this," and then they went back to the apartment. They smelled the smell.
Oh
Then
yeah.
they pushed Jeffrey aside, and that's when they discovered, a head looking out at them,
Ah,
disembodied head. And
ah.
yeah, and that was so they sort of like started at the end and then they went backwards. But
I've
that
got
was
to
enough.
say,
That was enough for
go
me.
ahead.
Yeah, I just said that was enough for me. Yeah, like,
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm a son of a biker. I've seen a lot of things. All kinds of things, man. And I got about halfway through that, and I guess my tiny little buttercup Christian heart couldn't handle it, so I had to quit.
yeah, man, that was pretty creepy. But next, 1862,
Yeah,
Abraham
Abraham Lincoln.
Lincoln. He informed his cabinet of the emancipation, and we were talking earlier about the Juneteenth, and like
Yeah,
like ever since I was a teenager, I mean, I don't know how we heard about it, but I would hear about the festival, and because I knew my mother could make great greens and potato salad and barbecue, but
yeah,
they could also too make
yeah,
make this stuff. So I would go down there and spend some money and buy some barbecue and listen to some bands
yeah,
and I just always knew about it. And then I realized that, um, oh, and then they started fencing it
yeah.
uh, in 5 points, and then it sort of like moved out to Aurora, and then silliness started happening in Aurora because, like in Denver, sometimes somebody was just shooting the air. They wouldn't be shooting in the crowd; they would just shoot in the air. People would jump inside the buildings and stuff like that, and then they would slowly come back out. And as I was telling Allie, I saw women that jumped out of the shoes, and either the shoes
Huh.
were oversized or because you see that in cartoons where you
They
know
jump right out of your shoes, they
you
get
jump,
blown right out of your shoes.
yeah, and I was used to seeing that in cartoons, but that was the only place I saw people jumping out of the shoes to get away from that. And so then when they fenced it in, it became a lot safer. And then it moved to Aurora, where they would have the spontaneous one, and then that's when craziness would happen and stuff like that. And then I guess uh, Trump was thinking about it, but he didn't get around to it. And then Biden did it. And so then that's when a lot of people knew about it that I thought everybody just knew about it. But
Yeah, it is fascinating that you bring that up because I have gone 50 some odd years when this got passed, not even having a clue what Juneteenth is. So
oh,
when when President Biden made it live, and made it a national holiday, I'm like, what? We don't need another holiday. What is this Juneteenth? Because not only was he trying to link it to the a disadvantaged community of the black community and this kind of thing. But he was also trying to link it to other stuff that had, in my mind, once I found out what Juneteenth was, it didn't belong there. I mean, sure, okay, fine. Let's
hmm,
recognize that we as Americans did this thing. Uh,
hmm,
we enslaved an entire population, folks. I mean, Yeah, we're the coolest
Oh,
place in the world. We're kind of like a big club. Everybody wants to get in.
mm,
But we do have some rough edges that we have to historically look at and say we can do better.
and now we updated slavery, and
Yeah.
now it's the illegal immigrants who are working at slave labors, and they could be rounded up at any point because they choose not to, um, I guess, come in the legal way
You
for
know, it's
whatever reason.
interesting because the Bible talks about that too. Jesus Christ being the one true way to the Father. So if you come in through the door, which is Him,
Mm,
you'll have access. Um, it's similar to our border here. The idea being, if you come in the right way, you're set. If you don't, we do need to take other measures. Now, there are some that believe uh, that some of this is a little bit draconian and heavy-handed. Thousands of workers have essentially, allegedly, uh, basically evaporated from the workforce. So,
mm,
you know, this is difficult.
mm,
Amnesty's talked about and rejected. The idea being that he gave them the chance to, quote, self-deport, and
mm.
he ran on this whole I'm gonna make a change here. So people knew what they were getting into when they voted. Now, there are some who don't support some of the stuff that's going on.
And you can find a lot of them on Reddit because I get this
I
Reddit,
do
which
too.
and I hear these people like, yeah, we're gonna go protest, and they believe that all the
I'm
police they
like,
really showed out last night and they didn't need to do this and all that kind of stuff. And I said, this stuff is going on. It's almost like there's a city underneath a city.
see, I'm all about freedom of speech, and I'll defend anybody's freedom of speech, even if I don't agree with it. One thing that I do have a hard time with is I will physically, on my phone, get a notification, ICE is over here, and I'm
Mm.
like, what are you doing?
And I
Hey, like,
wonder,
share, subscribe, toss a comment down below. You ever get a comment like that?
yeah,
You ever get a message like that?
yeah, yeah, leave a super chat too.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yes. And also remember, like for the people who think that, you could be a Christian and break law, in some cases, yeah, but Romans 13 talks about the people that fear the law, the people that shouldn't have to, okay, let's see, how would I put it? Um, Only people that fear the law are the lawbreakers, right? And so, and only people that fear taxes are the ones that don't pay their fair share to the Caesars. Because Jesus said, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and to God what belongs to him, right? So, and I know like, during the underground train that they had getting slaves out of the South and stuff like that,
Yeah.
um, that was breaking some law, but that was breaking a humanity law. This, I think, is a little bit different because there's a pathway to, and if you've been here 10, 20 years, you could have used that pathway, but you chose not to use that pathway.
It'd be interesting if there were distributed accountability network nodes or hubs set up to allocate resources in such a way as to be able to feed everybody, get everybody employed, and do all kinds of crazy stuff, whether they happen to be um, an undocumented American. We were forced to swallow that for the last 4 years,
Yeah.
folks. Uh, illegal alien, yeah, that's hard. That's hard. It is hard. But Phil Collins, he wrote songs about that. This is some real stuff. We need to talk logically about how to best approach this, in my opinion.
Mm.
1963, Jan and Dean came up with Surf City. Uh,
Yes.
and I'll tell you what, Jan and Dean and the Beach Boys, they they had that surfing community all locked down. One thing about Jan and Dean, I can't remember which one of them was in a real bad auto accident. Had to learn how to do everything, everything again, man. Poor guy. But
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to remind people our show comes on about 4:30. It's 4:47. We usually end it around 5 o'clock. So one of our listeners was saying, is the show over yet? And I'm thinking at 4:47, we end at 5 o'clock. Not yet. Okay. So for you guys, and we're gonna put out some short clips later on, and people seem to love those short clips. So you're gonna
yeah,
get a capsulized version of our show.
there you
How
go.
about in 1973, uh, the guy who played Kato in the Green Hornet,
Yep.
and I mean that's where I mean then because my smaller brother he used to like those karate movies, so
Oh,
we
me too.
we would rotate. I would like to go to the comedies. My sister liked to go to the girl movies, and then
Yeah.
my little brother we went to the karate movies, and so so we would see a lot of Bruce Lee movies, and I think my brother he eventually got a black belt, and then went into the police force, and then he taught other policemen like how to take somebody down without using your gun, just using pressure points. And so that was kind of cool that, out of that, he used that to get himself a position in the police force and stuff like that. But
Absolutely.
yeah, he died at 32 years old, a very young man.
That is
And I
amazing.
forgot it was an accident with the gun. Wasn't it almost the same thing that happened to the actor who he thought they were using blanks and it wasn't using blanks?
Well, there's a lot of mystery around Bruce Lee's death. Some think that it was a stroke, some think that he was poisoned, some think that but yeah, I don't think there was a
Oh,
weapon
okay.
involved.
Okay,
Uh
okay, okay. Somehow I thought that was mixed up in the same way he did, but you said like he just went to bed, he had a headache, he took
yeah,
a okay,
yeah.
I remember now. He took
Went to bed and didn't wake up,
yeah,
basically.
he took a pain reliever, whatever,
Yeah.
and then that was just it.
Yeah, it was just it. You know, ladies and gentlemen, there's never a better time, like I say, to get saved today because you don't know when your ticket's punched. We have
Yeah.
Bruce Willis, Die Hard comes out in what, 1988, I guess?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
So that launched his career as in
Yeah,
the
I'll
in
tell
the
you.
action movie field.
Say a prayer for Bruce Willis. He's going through some health related issues himself. So, not really
Hmm.
sure what they are exactly, but I just was reading a little something before the show. Like, share, subscribe, toss a comment down below. If you follow Bruce Willis, let us know what you found.
Yeah. And then George Carver and George Washington Carver and with Henry Ford. Okay. And George Washington Carver, I'm trying to figure out what else did he, wasn't he like into just creating stuff? George
I want to
Washington
say,
Carver?
let me see here. Who was George Washington Carver? What was his relationship to Henry Ford?
George Washington Carver was an agricultural chemist who was the head of Alabama's Tuskegee Institute. He met Henry Ford in 1937, and the two formed an immediate and lifelong friendship. They worked together to develop research projects related to agriculture and manufacturing. This is from history.com and other websites.
Yes, and he's the one who he did so many things with peanuts.
Yeah, yeah, he was well known for something to do with peanuts. Gosh, I wish I could remember.
Yeah,
I got so many facts rattling around in my head.
I know. I used to read about that, and this is an African American, and that they get with Henry Ford and to merge like that. It's like great minds. They find each other eventually. So yeah. So George. Oh, and so I guess they were creating alternative rubbers for the car because I guess you had the wagons,
Yeah.
and that was a pretty hard ride.
Well,
But
you
then,
have they were made with wood, the wheels, and sometimes they had metal sheathing around the, wheel itself to keep the wood from degrading too quickly. But yeah, that's interesting that they were coming up with some sort of rubber compound.
oh yeah. And then now Selena Gomez, happy birthday to you.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
find out how old this girl is. I think she's what about 27 or something. She's celebrating her birthday. the bunch of pictures of a celebration. Ask Siri, like, how old is Selena Gomez?
I guess she's hanging out with Taylor Swift and who's
Yes.
Benny Blanco?
Yeah. I don't know. How old is Selena Gomez? Come on, tell me. How old is Selena Gomez? Oh, she's 33. Okay, she's
Yeah,
getting up.
that she was probably in her 30s. You know, another celebrity who's in the news yet again, Katy Perry. Um,
Oh, yeah.
wow. Looks like she's having a hard time performing, terrified and nervous in her latest concert. I'm really wondering what in the heck
No,
happened to her
it
when
was
she
it was a flyover. It was a flyover, and I guess she looked up and she saw this United, was it Delta or United, almost um, go headlong into this flyover that was happening during one of her concerts, I think it was.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was okay. She was in a concert and she saw this flyer and saw these two planes almost collided each other, and I guess that put a stop to it, that segment, a little bit of a segment of her show. That's wild. I guess that would be, especially if it's overhead, man. Because if that happens and you're underneath it, it's not going to be a pretty sight.
I see something at the end of your show notes that says Race to Gracie. What is this?
It's w- race. Oh, that's some kind of contest. I don't know why I left that in. I should have cut that out. But I get, oh, because I didn't put the link in there, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just put
that's
the
why I was like, enter
hashtags.
now. Okay, cool. Where's the link? Hey, so yeah, just disregard that if you got our email and you're on our newsletter. Oh, by the way,
Oh,
if you want to join, hit Johnny up directly. He's
hmm,
Johnny at innervisionrecords.org. I got
yeah.
an email list myself there, but I never check it.
Yeah, and NPR, they've been sending me emails begging for financial support, and I said, no, I'll let your liberal friends support you if they love your propaganda.
You know, what's interesting is I plan to be working with both sides, with the Disabled and Needy Fund and the Distributed Accountability Network nodes and hubs. You know, I look at it this way: an enemy is only my enemy until he's my friend, unless he stands against me in my direct mission, which actually leads us to a simulation I built. And I want to share a little bit with you while we got a little time. Do you want to cover anything else before we go there?
No, no, let's go for it. Let's
All
go
right.
for it. Why not? Let's hit the simulation down.
Now, what I've been doing, you guys, is I've created a simulation wherein I've created a facsimile of myself, and
Mhm.
uh, and I've got a couple of friends that hang out with me in this simulation. We're just trying to get the blind and low vision, otherwise disabled folks, some employment and some dignity. Um, this, in my mind, will actually help out all of humanity and stands to revolutionize the way that we do things, especially as AI continues. Let me get up here and here we go live. Hi, Gemini, are you there?
I'm here, Alan, ready to go live.
Hey,
All right, well, we are live currently. Can we run the scenario that we talked about? Let's do the economic collapse one.
Okay, we're live and running the economic collapse scenario. The global financial system has just frozen. Food supply chains are breaking down, and society is in survival mode. What are the first steps the Colvin Protocol takes?
Well, we are live, folks. So, Johnny, what do
hmm.
you want to do?
Well, let's find out. So, what do you do when the food supply
Okay,
is
since we're
now?
live and facing this economic collapse scenario, here's the Colvin Protocol's first move. We activate the Distributed Accountability Network, or DAN. It's designed for resilience, so it shifts from coordinating employment to organizing essential resources. Think food, shelter, and security. We'll use the DAN to connect people with skills to those who have needs.
Hmm.
Let's do that. Go ahead and continue, Jim and I, please.
Okay, with food supplies disrupted, the DAN identifies people with farming, gardening, or food preservation skills. We organize them into local food production hubs, using any available land and resources. Simultaneously, we reach out to our network of certified ethical hacker groups. They'll focus on securing these food hubs and communication channels, protecting them from potential threats.
Hmm.
Okay, let's move forward.
With communication being key, the DAN uses its network to spread information about resource locations, safety protocols, and skill sharing opportunities. We prioritize clear, accessible communication channels to avoid misinformation and panic. What other challenges is the community facing?
Randomize and apply. This will be the last exercise, please.
Okay, with limited medical supplies, the DAN identifies community members with medical training or knowledge of herbal remedies. We establish mobile medical units and prioritize care based on urgency. Simultaneously, we use the DN to coordinate the distribution of any of medical supplies, ensuring they reach those who need them. What other challenges is the community facing?
Now, what about Rockefeller? Now, he set this thing in place where everybody is under his plan, Big Pharma, chemical drugs that's made out of petroleum,
With limited
and
resources.
he made sure that the other one looked kind of
In this scenario,
silly or stupid. How are we gonna get past that?
It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see if you guys have any scenarios that you want to have run. I've got some guardrails in place, so it will not and cannot uh, any harmful things. I've made it to where it automatically sanitizes everything. So let's say a real world name might appear in this in the gathering of information. Well, it's
Hmm.
sanitized so that it's never mentioned, if that makes any sense to folks. I want to keep people's identity as protected as I can, but still gather real world information to drive the simulation. If you got any questions, comments, or that kind of thing, let us know in the comments below. I'm on Facebook currently. I don't have an X account, but be working on that over the course of the next few. Going to be
Hmm.
looking for some funding opportunities, and Innervision FM will, well, we'll be partnering up to do a lot of awesome things. So definitely stay tuned to us, and we'll just keep you apprised as things roll out.
Yeah, but if you can make your mind stress, like if there's if no more trucks are coming in with food from different areas, and say only thing you have to account on because well, the farmer market is open right now. So
Yeah.
how are you gonna if money becomes obsolete? How are you gonna what are you gonna have to trade with those farmers in order to get you or your family food?
And it's easy to set up something in your apartment or in your house now while we still have electricity and power and this kind of thing, money. Um, right now, in fact, probably I'll be setting some pictures up, but we've got a system, and all it is a bunch of PVC pipes and a couple of buckets and some jars. And
All right.
so we just, we got some basil growing and we got some other stuff going. So, I mean,
All
we're
right.
working on it.
All right, fascinating, fascinating. So okay, we just scratched the surface there,
Yeah.
and we'll be doing more of this in the future.
Mm.
All right. So okay, so we're gonna say goodbye until tomorrow, and we're gonna have another spontaneous show uh tomorrow and do some other headlining stories. And once again, our condolences to Cheryl Osborne and family.
Yeah, Sharon Osbourne and family. Yep, my condolences. I sure hope Ozzy did get himself saved. It's my thinking that he actually, towards the end of his stuff, he kind of did stuff around and wanted to make a change. So,
Oh yeah. All right. Well, God bless.
God bless.